It's been over 3 years since I did this, and I'm very excited. I'm going to fold laundry while I'm doing this, but I have to tell you the latest with us and some of my ideas with the city of New Haven and so on and so forth. We have left the pits of Ramsdell Street and Westville and have moved uptown to downtown. We are in the residences. We're actually tenants of Ninth Square. Yes, two-bedroom apartment, heat and hot water included. What else? Oh, washer and dryer, elevator, washer and dryer inside the apartment, dishwasher. What else? Elevator. You got to have a little key fob in order to get in the place. Aside from the morons who let anybody in, you know how that goes. We are much, much happier. It only cost us a couple of $100 more. We had to wait 8 months for the apartment, but it didn't take long at all. So anyway, yeah, we're up here. We're one of the high floors of the building. We can see everything. It is a great, great find. I don't regret it a bit, aside from the fact that Beacon Properties and Ninth Square Apartments is, in the capitalist tradition, a landlord. No better, no worse. Well, actually, they are better than like Mandy or one of them kind of people, and Ocean and what other kind of slobs you got, who take advantage of people. But we did have to take them to housing court to get our windows repaired. I don't know what the problem was. Well, I know what the problem was, right? The problem is that just like any landlord, they're not going to do anything until push comes to shove. So push came to shove. The best thing that in this city that the city has to offer, I have to tell you, is LCI. If you don't know about LCI, you should find out. It's called the Livable City Initiative. It will only work to your benefit if you work it. You got housing code violations. You got things that are not right. First thing you do is you call your management, whoever your property management is, and you give them a few weeks. That doesn't work, then you call LCI. They're right downtown. Great group of people. You won't regret it. It's like if you ever have the unfortunate happening of having to go to housing court downtown in the courthouse on L Street. They're a great group of people. They will help you. They will walk you through every step of the way. Do not be intimidated by anything your landlord says. The second you contact LCI to come do an inspection on your apartment, eviction process stops. They cannot intimidate you. They cannot hurt you. They cannot come up with reasons to intimidate you and scare you and try to get you evicted. It doesn't work. And don't fall for the crapola. You saw what happened with, who was it, Ocean? When the people formed a union and you tried to evict everybody. Well, we see how that worked out. So anyway, here's the issue that we've had this summer, though, here in Ninth Square. Aside from the fact that we have been overrun by salsa music, which was deafening. It was ear-splitting, deafening music that, okay, I'll tell you, we're up on the 8th floor of a 9-floor building. It was so bad. The music was so loud and so intense, it was shaking our windows. We have turtle tanks, and it was shaking the water in the turtle tanks. It was absolutely obscene, irresponsible on the part of the property management here at Ninth Square, and that seems to be an issue with them. I think they are young. I think they are naive. I think they are not well versed in the ways of the world, and they don't see a lot coming. And we are the ones who suffer for it. Unfortunately for them, now that word is getting around what happened with us regarding LCI, um, now everybody wants their windows fixed because everybody's windows are shit, pure shit. I couldn't believe it. We moved in on January 15th. On January 17th, I was freezing to death. I had more ice on the inside of my windows than the cars outside that were parked outside. The problem here with 9 Square, and then it took 10 months for 9 Square Apartments to get it together to change the windows. And I fought like hell. I thought, I'll be damned if I'm going to pay the rent here and not get what I pay for. And I will be warm. I'm 68 years old. I suffer from MS. I'm a cancer survivor. I was in a vicious car accident in 2019 that did horrible things to my knee, my ankle, my foot, yada, yada, yada. And I will be warm. Whatever time I have left on this planet, I will be warm. And that's all there is to it. I have a lot of problems with a representation in Hartford. I don't vote anymore. And that's just me personally. And the reason I don't vote is because I haven't found a candidate yet, up until, and I'll get into this in a minute, up until, because nobody represents my interests. Nobody represents what I want. And what I want is for the Board of Alders to have a complete overhaul. The leadership is not just irresponsible and completely oblivious to the needs of the community. They give you a lot of mouth with nothing to back it up. I have talked via email to my alder here in 9 Square, but I've never met the individual. All through the summer, when there's all these activities going on in this stupid promenade, you know, where they close off Orange Street, it's just an asinine idea. Never saw him. Never saw him, never showed up, nothing. You might be able to hear a little bit of music outside. The Pride, I don't want to say parade, but the Pride, the annual Pride party, gala, celebration is going on today, and that's been wonderful. What has infuriated the businesses around the area, what has infuriated many of the tenants of this building, is this just overwhelming intoxication of weed. It is disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And by closing off this part of Orange Street between Center and Crown, what they have done is they have concentrated the weed. People move down from the green, they sit in the chairs that your tax dollars have provided for them, and they sit there all day long getting high. And that's all they do, day after day after day. The businesses here suffer. The trade suffers. And if it's not that, then we've got the homeless sleeping in doorways. There was a horribly violent incident with a young man who was homeless, and he was allowed to sleep in the alcove of where ArtSpace was for quite some time. ArtSpace called it their mission. Allowing someone to sleep on concrete is not a mission. It is an obscenity. So he was allowed to sleep there for quite some time, and then Beacon decided and 9 Square decided they don't like it anymore. So they got testy with him. and made him leave. He came back. They made him leave. He came back. He is at the very least schizophrenic. He hears voices, et cetera, et cetera. So anyways, not to make a long story even longer, eventually the police were called, 4 or 5 cop cars, and countless officers. He was tased. He was handcuffed, and he was taken out of here. To what point? I have no idea, because a few hours, James was back. A few days later, I went down. I had talked to him periodically through this whole deal. And yeah, to some people, he was scary. And at one point, he had punched the crap out of some guy who was left bleeding in the middle of Crown Street. This is a great idea, right? And I had gone down, Alex joined me after, and attended to the guy while one of the cops worried about whether or not he was going to have dinner. And she brought down a towel, and, I tended to his bleeding on Crown Street. The whole incident really broke my heart. It really did. So a few days after James got out of jail, he was down here again. And he was sitting on a bench, and he says to me, we had talked periodically over the course of time. I think I said that already, but we've talked about this, that, and the other. And I said to him, what are you doing, James? He says, well, if I'm out here, they can't touch me. In other words, they can't arrest me. And I said, so you're going to spend your time poking the bear? So understand this, James, their army is always going to be bigger than yours. That's just the way it is. You're always going to lose. Let's be a grown-up about this. And we talked about his mom in, I think it was North Carolina. That's how he got out. She bonded him out, so on and so forth. And I said, James, you can't do this anymore. Because I, for one, cannot see you be dragged down the street. I've seen a lot of bullshit in my life. I make no mistake about that. And this was some of the worst that I've seen. I've been involved in some real bullshit. This was not good. This was not good. It's one thing when it happens to you. It's another thing when it happens to someone who you have regard for. And who is as defenseless as someone with schizophrenia can be. So the homeless has been obnoxious, just straight up downtown obnoxious. The mayor has this asinine plan to build a shooting gallery around the corner on State Street. Where he is going to supply illegal narcotics to drug addicts, thinking in his misguided way that somehow will keep them alive and, better than a whole bunch of dead people. I haven't seen a whole bunch of dead people. That's the first off. Number two, you remember a few years ago when there were like 100 people flopping around on the green? And most of those people survived. If I'm correct, and God knows somebody will be around to correct me. If there were any deaths, it was minor. But anyway, ambulances were toting these people out of here left and right. I shouldn't say out of here, out of the green left and right. Administering Narcan, taking them down to the hospital, so on and so forth. And what happened? They'd have them stabilized, and they'd be back down on the green. So rather than invest in treatment centers, let's start being, they're drug dealers, right? So now we're going to have them leave their drug den after they've been injected with illegal narcotics, come up Crown Street, because everybody, I swear to God, there's like a, a homing light or something that says, please bring us all you refuge and wretched and blah, blah, blah. So they're going to come up here. And now, not only do we have everybody smoking weed because of some misguided legislators who've got their heads up their asses. So not only do we have weed everywhere now, and the homeless sleeping in all the businesses, and it is all the businesses on Orange Street where the street is blocked off. Some of the shop owners, when they open up in the morning, they look out and it's just a sea of sleeping bodies. When I came on today, there's another guy got his sleeping bag and his, all of his little goodie stuff in the alcove right over there on Orange Street. It's not going to stop. So anyways, so he's going to have this little shooting gallery and keep everybody alive. Yay. Yay. So all the kids who live here, and there's a number of kids, the elderly, me, those with disabilities, me, people who have lived here 10, 20, 25 years will be subjected to this sort of behavior. Why? Because they can't pay market rent. That's why. What we had, when we talked about affordable workforce housing, this is what we wanted where I live. There's a cap to be, there's an income cap at the, a top end of this apartment. And so there are families here. They're 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, so they can't have 15 kids moving in here, destroying the place. It is maintenance wise very well managed. Property manager, not so much. The property manager, the head property manager, he's got a little secret, and I think I know what it is. I'm gonna keep it to myself. The property manager, the so-called resident liaison, they're not so good. If you want an apartment here, there's a lot of vacancies here now, from what I understand. And if you want an apartment here now, it's not a bad idea, but know that you need to get on a wait list, and it will be a while. They advertise the fitness center. There's no fitness center. What hasn't been stolen is broken. This closing off of this block of Orange Street was probably a good idea in its day. It has become a horror. Crown Street needs, speed bumps, because the amount of traffic and chaos caused by noise and so on and so forth is absolutely ridiculous on the weekends. No people should be forced to live in this kind of an environment with this level of noise, just so people can get smoke weed and drink. No, no. We have people like myself who have worked all our lives. I've worked since I was 14 years old. My first job was picking tobacco, for Christ's sake. Some of these people have never held a job. You cannot sacrifice my quality of life to help someone who has no interest in helping themselves. I don't want to hear your salsa music at ear-splitting levels. I don't want to hear your car radio. I don't want to hear you fighting. I don't want to hear all of these just antisocial, childish, immature behaviors when it can be stopped. I want speed bumps. So I contact the city about how do I start this whole process. Well, there's a block long application process. And given it is now almost November, I am not going to start it now because nobody's putting speed bumps in the middle of there. Let's face it. But this area should have speed bumps. There's just no two ways about it. So I met a gentleman. So this is the mayor's big plan. You remember when he had the big plan about shutting down Mitchell Library right after it had been renovated? The second most popular library annex in the city, and you want to shut it down. I don't know who you're listening to, Mr. Mayor, but they're not giving you good advice. There's a whole bunch of people in this city who want to be a part of city, but they're City Hall on commissions and boards and appointees, and they're not able to because they're not part of the clique, myself included. If you're intimidated by me and you're afraid of me and you're afraid to face me in this blog, it says a lot about you. It says very little about me. I am just so disappointed in people that I have supported financially, emotionally, have given my vote to over the years, and I never will again. I never will again. I have been terribly disappointed in the electorate. I don't vote for the Board of Alders. When we lived in Westville, it was Richard Furlow. What a waste. What a waste. I just read, Adam Marchand is also an alder for Westville, and there's a restaurant over there's been in business for, decades. And now it's closed down because of eminent domain. Has he done anything to help those people? Giving away tax dollars to all these developers. What are you, out of your mind? You're giving them tax dollars to do things like pick up the trash and maintain the property. You should have been doing that anyways. You don't need a tax dollar. That's absolutely obscene. That's the cost of doing business, is picking up the garbage. And, the same people, Beacon Properties, who owns the residences at Night Square, they're the same people who own that Monterey Place. And have you been to Monterey Place recently? Not exactly a shining star. And Beacon is not doing well with regard to renting. I see them touring, I have to tell you, the leasing agent, Peter Walkman, he is just the best guy on the face of the earth. He will tell you the way it is. He is honest. He is humble. He is respectful. I absolutely adore Peter. I can't tell you enough, how much I respect him. The reason why we had to wait 8 months to get our apartment was because somebody in Boston, which is where their main office is, somebody in Boston didn't know how to do 2 + 2. And so we had to wait until they learned, and then we were finally able to get in here. So those are the things that I'm taking a look at recently. I finally, in this election year, I know what I was going to tell you. I interrupted myself. So Tom Goldenberg is running for mayor. Best challenger Ellicott has gotten in a long time. And William Wynn beats the hell out of me. But I'll tell you what, if I vote for anybody, it's going to be him. Nice guy. I see him at the gym all the time. I go to Mactivity, which is a great place over on Nickel Street, 285 Nickel Street. Affordable prices. Fantastic trainer. I just happened to get hooked up with a trainer. His first name is Teague. And he is just, for a young guy, he is just the best, by far the best. If you're down here in Ninth Square, do yourself a favor, go to Bark and Vine. It's a plant store that's, like kitty corn at our house. They are wonderful. They're just the greatest people. And I thought it was just a plant store, and it's not. They've got candles, and they've got lotions, and they've got healthcare, and they've got incense, and they've got jewelry, and they've got this, and they got that, and they got, you know, stickers, and this, that, and the other. And they're just the greatest people. Customer service up the wazoo, you know? The other place that I am absolutely in love with is the Ninth Square Market over here on Orange Street. The people who run it are the dearest and sweetest people, and they deserve far better than having weed blowing in their front door. They've been here for over 20 years. They're just wonderful, and I can't say enough about them. When we first moved into here, this was their place was the first place that we went into, and I fell in love. They're my homies, and I adored it. We are living a far better life than we were when we took Beacon to Housing Court over this window fiasco. For the last 5 months, I've been having to pay the rent to the courthouse until Beacon got its head out of its ass and fixed the windows. So I have not relished that. I don't like walking to the courthouse. I got to walk up to College Street. I'm 68. I got bad, I got to walk up to College Street to the bank, get a cashier's check. Then I got to walk my butt down to the courthouse and then reverse it and come home. Why do I do that? Because the bus system is so screwbally. So, and the other night, Alex was on a bus coming home from her job in North Haven, and the goddamn bus driver was bus 1490. Don't you know he got mad with a passenger. He pulled over to the side and got off the bus. The driver, not the passenger, the driver. I'm going on a break, he says, and off he goes. Let me tell you. So that's, you want us to ride buses? I would love to. Guarantee my safety from unruly passengers and from drivers who are absolutely disgusting. The next time Alex was on a bus with this guy, he didn't get fired, by the way, didn't get suspended. So the last time that Alex was on the bus and he was the driver, then he was driving like a maniac, she said. And so, that had to be tended to. And so you want me to ride a bus? No problem. Make it safe so that I can do it without having to put my life in my hands. Left the bus at the side of the road. What the hell's the matter with you? Come over here and talk to me about it. It won't end well for you, I guarantee you. There's that old saying, I may not own much in this world, but I raised that kid from the time she was 10 all by myself while I was surviving cancer. And don't touch her till the day I die. I will be a thorn in your side if it comes to touching that kid. So those were the things. And there was something else about. Yeah, I'll remember it at some point and we can talk again. But this is the truth. I forgot my red lipstick, but this is the truth for my red lips. I want you, if you vote for anybody for mayor, do yourself, do this city a favor? Vote for Tom Goldenberg. If you have the chance to get rid of that dumbass Alder DeCola, who leaves the scene of an accident? How dare you? Who the hell do you think you are? And then reportedly some cop over there says, well, you shouldn't press charges, ma'am, because the woman whose car he slammed into, because he's a powerful person in the city. What? I couldn't pick him up out of a lineup, for Christ's sake. What do you mean he's popular? You're just an alder. Most of those guys just have barely a high school education. You know that, right? So, anyway, that's my rant for this week. I'm going to start lining up guests again. If I can find people that I really am impressed with. That's my problem. See, there's, over the course of time, it's harder and harder and harder to find people who I'm impressed with. Because why? Well, I'm a little arrogant, just like everybody else. So anyway, thank you for listening. I hope we have the chance to do this again. My name is Dawn, last name Bleisner. I live in the city of New Haven, and I wish you with all my heart that you have a good week, good month. Be careful on Halloween. And I'm glad that I'm doing this again because I have missed this and I have not taken the opportunity to do it. So thank you very much. Please vote for Tom Goldenberg, and I appreciate it. Bye.